I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make the man and some pressure make a gemstone. Trying to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Naja boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, I'm scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes is basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh. Get it from my mama, hip so thick that I need tempo. Personality spicy, body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu, since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing you need endurance to go in. I got mileage on this pen, I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Alistair.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alistair.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love him when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to be here with you guys on this Saturday night. So good to see you guys and thank you so much for being here, Choochie. Hello, Choochie. And thank you for hitting the like button. You guys are awesome. Little Miss Sharon, thank you so much. And Kylie's Nail Candy is here. Hey, Kylie's Nail Candy. And Gail, so good to see you. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. We have a lot to talk about. Well, there's some things that have come up, and I think now I'm kind of understanding a little bit more maybe what is going on here with these locations and the specific timing that they're asking for information for. Now, the time is kind of broad. But I wanted to get into it and see what you all thought tonight. So, hello, Andrea. Good to see you. And hey, Shauna. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. And let's see, we have Marion here also. And Sandy. Thank you for being here, Sandy. Hey, Jilly. So good to see you. Happy Saturday. And Rob Beanie. Hello, Rob Beanie. And Coffee Crime and Cats is here. And Shadow is here. Good to see you, Shadow. And let's see, IML. Hey, IML. And it's so good to see all you guys. Hey, Cinderella. I saw a lot of you guys on the day crew. We just kind of did, a random live again, kind of centered around some of the buzz, the new buzz that At Night has created. And that is a positive, in my opinion, that is a positive um thing that we're talking about, Sebastian, right? Everybody's wanting to kind of see what they're asking for. 2 years after his disappearance is a quite a long time uh for camera footage, right? It just is. And I hate saying that. I hate that it's been 2 years. Hey, Witchy Mama, good to see you. I know. Well, that's why I try to do the day shows. Hey, Rob Beanie, see Rob Beanie dabbing in the chat. And Sabrina, good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I'm sketchy about a lot of things. Right? I find a lot of things sketchy. Let's see. So I wanted to show you guys this quick video that I made because, like I said, I might be on the wrong track, but I think this makes more sense than most stuff. Most stuff does here lately. And so let me go ahead. Oh, I need to pull up the other video. Yeah, I made a quick video during the break. Let's see. Um, oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, I put Mama Bling Bling. All right, so let's see here. I'm just gonna. Wow, there's something happy for you. Gotta love these ads. Gross. All right. Glad we took care of that. All right. No, I don't want to do. They ask me if I want to renew, and it's like, no, I'm cheap. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. So let me go ahead and post this up here. All right. So this is something interesting that I was working on during the break with someone. And if you want to watch it without comments, you guys can do that, screenshot, whatever you need. Here we go. So today At Night sends out a post, and it's this little post down in the corner, but I've been, I put it in there larger. They're asking people to look through camera footage and businesses, homes, etc. Now the homes on Long Hollow Pike are off the road. I said that in my video as well when we were driving, over to Stop 30, because when you look at their driveways and their how much land is in between, the road and their house, it's significant. It is significant. And of course, I brought the Cheshire cat in today because this is driving us all mad. I don't know about you guys. So, CIS, oh, good to see you. Hello. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. So, yeah. The beagle's sick of it too. Can you hear him barking? All right. So this is a better view. And this is going to be, a little bit of an overlay. I didn't want to directly overlay it because it's the way it is situated this way. It's like as you're looking up the street, right? And this way it's kind of like a different angle altogether. But I wanted to show you this. Now we were talking about these maps earlier today. So this fits perfectly. But I don't know. Do the locations match up? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 check marks. They've added one more check mark. The green flag is going to be the tree house by Sebastian's house. So just so you guys can follow it. I know these maps look like, a kindergartner decided to pass their paper around the room. You know what I mean? Shauna, I wish I could. Not from this view. I have a larger view coming up. But I just kind of wanted to point out, all these pin drops are matching with all of these check marks off of long, and it looks like it's Long Hollow Pike. And I could be wrong here, but I just want to kind of point that out. So I'm thinking maybe they're going back to the old SAR maps and looking for information. I told you, dog, I'm coming for you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm only teasing. He's going to show up at my house and knock on my door. Okay, so here's a bigger version without the overlaid, or the picture in the picture here. So, and then here's again the tree house that would be in Sebastian's um common area that we call it, right? I don't care if it's an easement, it's common area, whatever. The area between the houses, right? We'll just say that. So, yeah, Shauna, because so this one's a better version of it. Like it's closer up, and you can see there's like, a bright green flag here. And that's like supposedly between the neighborhoods. And I'll show you guys a picture of that as well. Hey, Kylie Ray, good to see you. So, um, aw, that's so cute. Thank you, Sabrina. Aw, hello to your daughter. Um, so yeah, it's kind of makes me wonder if they're going backwards, which I mean, I think is good. That's what I want to do. And I'm pointing at the green flag, right? And then this is a very close up where we can see that the flag is identifying the treehouse here. So this is really important. And then you can see the check marks up close and personal. Now, I know there's a better version also, Shauna, of this SAR map that is was shared on, I think it was Channel 5. Nick Barris showed it. And it was Ken Widener, and he was standing in front of it. He was standing in front of the big screen, like humongous, big, huge screen. And they had this pulled up. Now, again, these are different searchers, right? 3324, Mark was out, right? C. Preston, Browning, J. Rice, L. Bryan. You see all these? Montgomery, SA 20, SA 2, 820 and 821. And so, you see all of these. So this one says CP. Just CP. I don't know. What do you guys think? But there you have it. And there's a big question mark as well by the tree house. Big question mark. Okay, so here's the tree house, and this is what's marked by the tree house. There's a big evergreen, right? And this is in Sebastian's neighborhood. I just kind of want to give you a close-up view. All right, green flag, and this is the aerial view. And you can see, and this ditch, guys, this ditch like just runs right through, and then there's a great big hole that water goes through, right? So, and this is the lady that yelled at me and does not like me and kicked me out of the neighborhood. All right, so there's that. There's the treehouse again, ground view. And then I just wanted to put this in because this was, also sent by a friend, right? And this is when the crawl space entrance was still visible from the street. This is from a trip that Justin took to the Proudfoot neighborhood. And then, this person snapped a screenshot, of this. Now, Chris and Katie have since put a large bush right here. Not here or here so much, but just right here. Okay. So I don't know. We all talked about the crawl space. I know our friend Shauna was in here and we were talking about the crawl space. I don't know. I don't know. So I wanted to show you that because, they were checking everybody else's crawl spaces. They were. And, you know, this is going to tie into something else I'm working on as well. But here's the thing, you know, I think my feeling is the majority of how I feel is that Sebastian did make it home. Um, Something with the Texas Roadhouse doesn't add up for me. And I think that's why when I'm preparing information to put into the war room for us to work on first for Sebastian, um, for me, it's gonna always be those events that are leading up to Sebastian's disappearance. For me, it's a lot of what I go off of are the events before anybody's disappearance, right? So it's not like I'm taking something completely different and applying it to Sebastian's case. I'm not. It always concerns me that Sebastian was in the middle of some turmoil, and so was Chris and Katie, and then CPS was involved, right? Hey, Sasha, this is what their crawl space looks like with before they put that bush up. It's good to see ya. Um, so yeah, it's just I think it's very important because there was a couple of things that they were trying to do, and God help me, but to get rid of Sebastian, right? And it wasn't like hurt him per se, right? But he was being abused. He was being mentally, verbally and physically abused in my opinion. By Chris Proudfoot, who bragged about it, but Katie was also very cold towards her son, in my opinion. If I see them out together, I don't see them having a good time. And maybe that's just me on the outside looking in. But there were several things that were going on that evening that makes me think that maybe something was supposed to happen after the Texas Roadhouse or on the way home and something went awry. So there was something, a plan fell out of place. Um, because we still have a lot of strange activity at the Texas Roadhouse. But if I take that aside and I think, okay, so if there was a handoff, for me, it would have been at Stop 30 Road. If you guys have any information or screenshots where you can prove to me that Katie stopped at BP or that someone saw her that's credible, I would like to see it. But the thing is, that really sucks is because JLR, hey Brad, JLR decided to insert himself into Sebastian's case, and then there was a whole bunch of posts coming from different Facebook groups. If it came from JLR's Facebook group, I do not want it. And I'm not trying to be, hateful and be like, "Oh, don't send me his shit," but really please don't send me his shit because I don't want to see it. I don't trust him. I don't want to share any of the stuff that he's posted because I don't know who posted it or if they're even a real person or if it's one of his exes from, beyond the grave. So, I mean, I'm good on that. But any other proof, because I've never actually seen the proof of the BP, that to me is a rumor. That to me is just as good as someone saying, I saw Devlin Tate petting someone's dogs outside the trailer park on the day that he went missing. Show me. I want to see. I want to see that person come forward, right? I want to see that person do more than just post it on a Facebook post or post it on YouTube. You know what I mean? Because we have to be so careful with going after something like that. And also, I would imagine that BP would have footage, no doubt. Now, here's the problem is if law enforcement opted not to go get said footage, and it was taped over or what have you, or again, like in Devlin's case, they could have been doing an update, but very rarely does that happen at the gas stations and things. It looks like a newer one. The area is very nice, so I mean everything is, newer. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, I think we need to rely on just the facts. Katie going into the garage and never coming and never, you know, Sebastian never being seen getting out of the vehicle or anything like that. Of course, right? Also with the hoodie, the person who took out the trash apparently was wearing a hoodie. Um, and then also it appears that you could see a person, but you couldn't make out a face of who the person was on the camera. The neighborhood was dark. Katie made sure everything was dark. I don't understand why Sebastian wouldn't have tripped off some sensor lights um that they have on in a neighborhood that's so dark. I mean, common sense would tell you if your neighborhood is extremely dark, you should probably illuminate your own home at least. Um, yeah, more than just grainy, it's shadowy. Yeah, see, exactly, Shauna. And that's that is, I think, the hardest part, is because we don't have that piece. If we did, then that would be great. Another thing is that allegedly the neighbors said that Sebastian would get out of the vehicle and use the front door, that he didn't like to drive into the garage. So what made that night different? And when it comes to the trash, why didn't he just take the trash out when he got out of the car when they got home from the Texas Roadhouse? It's very odd when we see a pattern being broken for anyone. We are creatures of habit, most of us. And again, our routines aren't as rigid as, say, someone who's on the spectrum, but most of us like to do the same things and, like predictability because predictability is safe. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't like to be like wholly surprised by crap, because I'd rather not. Especially when as you get older, and but so just the fact that Sebastian didn't get out of the car like he usually does, um, could that be a big red flag that he didn't make it home? Or could that be a big red flag that maybe something was given to him and he was forced to take something and he was knocked out? So that's why he didn't mind, going in the garage. I mean, that's one angle. Um, so yeah, I know. I know. I know, Shauna. I will never understand why there wasn't their home wasn't lit up like a Christmas tree aside from the discounts working for companies, right? Yeah, for Brinks. Exactly. CP is nosy. Yeah. Well, and Nina said, right, that there were cameras and she said I asked him, "Christopher, where are your cameras?" Right? I'm pretty sure that's probably a direct quote. "I thought you had cameras." Mm, yeah, it's just sad. Because I think he watched Sebastian like a hawk. I really do. I think he watched him like a hawk. And I do think Katie, and that's another thing I cannot confirm, Kylie Ray, but I do think Katie was shagging the neighbor. I do. I think she was having a shag fest with the neighbor. Okay, so here's a close up too of the area, right? So we have Long Hollow Pike, right? I wish they would have made it a little bit more visible here, but these are the it's on the address pins, right? So here we go. And then you also have like Beach High School, you have Calvary Chapel, you have Shackle Island Church of Christ, Welsh College all the way the hell up there. But I mean, you could just see the road, right? How it goes. And then we don't have, and we can't really tell how far it is away or whatever. I guess I could look it up on a map. I'm not good with that, but um so and they're looking for footage from, as I said earlier, February 23rd, right? So you have through June 1st. So it's not just um the 8 minutes, right? Um that they're looking for. So I don't know. I mean, this is what they're asking of people. If you guys have any information, call them up. You know, send them an email. I mean, it's the best we can do. And then there was also these posts, right? And this is where I get a little bit silly, guys. So, just don't mind me. I didn't put any like, gifts in there or anything, I don't think. So, either way, but this is funny shit. And so authorities said YouTubers were interfering with the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Now that part's not funny, but something much larger took place. What they did not tell you is that a YouTuber may be the prime suspect in the disappearance. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, like, who could be the prime suspect in Sebastian's disappearance? It's a local YouTuber. And then, good old Terry Lynn pops up. Oh, shit. Here we go, folks. All right, it's Saturday. So we got Terry Lynn. Oh, good help us all. All right. She's handing out flyers, searching. Okay. Now we got authorities said YouTubers were interfering with the search. Now this is the second search. It's the same thing. But they're posting it everywhere, right? It's a different font altogether. There's people sending me these both of them. So I was going to show them. So, right, but there's something much worse, right? A YouTuber could be the prime suspect. And then again, I'm like, okay, well, who might be the prime suspect? And then it's Terry Lynn again. I'm like, oh shit. Welcome to Shackle Island. All right. So where's Waldo? Shut up. Oh my gosh. She just pops in everywhere. I can't help it. Oh my goodness. I mean, the mannequin didn't do it. He's not alive. Okay. And again, I'm sorry for teasing about the mannequin. It is creepy though. Now the kids like to dress it up. So I felt bad. I was like, that's I'm a jerk. Shut up. Oh Lord. Okay, so this is what we got. This is what we're working with. Poor Sebastian. And the thing is that, I mean, there's other people that started coming to mind, guys, when I'm making this video. I'm like, okay, Dog says that we need to be on the lookout for some shady characters from the YouTube streets that are also Mama with her bling, that are also, local, which we have these three. We have elevated goof. We have the clitoris, and they need to be questioned by LE. You know, Sasha, they need to be questioned. We need to pull them in. I mean, I said this. I had this up for a long time. It's like 3 months ago. I said this. Nobody listens. Oh, but in case you guys need a reminder, I think these people know a lot of information, especially these two. And I think these two probably told this one a lot. And I think he also got told a lot by Chris Proudfoot. That's my opinion. Right. And I'm sure it's going to be very well received by them. I'm sure they'll love me for saying it. Okay. So moving right along. Here's Katie. Katie thinks she got away with it, right? She loves being a bad girl, evil girl, right? There's there's Jesus dunking on the devil. All right. And now for this portion. So they're talking about this mattress pad. I'm like, I gotta go find the mattress pad because I have it. I'm like, oh, here's the mattress pad again. Big spoiler alert. You know who else was involved in finding the mattress pad? Oh, Terry Lynn. All right. So this mattress pad was found May 13th, 2024. 3:05:41 p.m. All well tagged and documented on this photo, right? 2040 New Hope Road, Hendersonville, Tennessee. 37075 in the United States of America, only in Tennessee. All right, so this is the mattress pad. It is very horrible, right? And it does appear that it could fit, a twin bed or maybe a full mattress, right? I found this in the brush between Warsham's and Beach Storage Unit. See date, time, location above, right? Okay. This is what they found, Sasha, right there. Right there. I know. And Sabrina, I think that there's definitely DNA in Charlie Briley's pickup truck because apparently this was in the back of his pickup truck. Good old Charlie Briley, like, oh, we can't find him. We can't find him anywhere. What the hell? Yes, I mean, I'm sure he didn't move, you know? Oh, for F's sake, you're kidding. She found it or she fake. I know. I don't. Shauna says, oh, for shit's sake. Hashtag shady lint. I'm telling you. And this is the thing. I mean, she went out with somebody else that is very nice and feels, exactly how, I mean, I don't know exactly how I do, but, very damn close to how I feel about getting involved with, Scary Terry. And, oh, good Lord, you know, and then she runs and she's like wifey number 6 for Chrissy Pissy Pants, and I mean, this is clearly, look, guys, and then I don't know what all this is, if it was mud, if there was, you know, but this is what they're talking about. This is what they're talking about. And, I heard something to the effect that the police didn't want to come get it or take it because it wasn't what they were looking for. Um it's very frustrating. Hey, Funtuski says, remember that the first interview was done by Dutch, then add the other 7 creepers, in my opinion. Right. That's true. Exactly, Funtuski. That is such a good point because, right. And there was a couple of other people, like even subsequently, like March 17th was the next Duchess interview, and that was the one that Arctic was on. And then I did watch a live stream where Clue and Cletus were actually side-eyeing Chris and Katie, but then they decided at some point that they were innocent, which, I mean, they're still innocent until proven guilty no matter what. I get that part, but it's just there's far too many red flags, you know? So, yeah, they could have taken DNA, Sabrina, they could have. He could, or how could LE miss something that close to the house 3 months later? I mean, I don't know. I don't know because they were all over that area. Like, they did the radius searches, right? Like 3 to 5 miles around. And then they did another search when the Cajun Navy came out to search as well. And then April 2nd was the very last press conference, or any kind of search or anything happened for Sebastian besides them putting out the reward through the FBI. But I'm just saying, IML says if that was his mattress pad, did his mom ever wash it? I know. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that was the one from the garage. you know? Kelly Ray says Katie is the Saint Rosalita of or, sorry, Rosalia of the 11th century doppelganger twins. 100% twins. Oh gosh, but Katie is the opposite evil. Well, I'll tell you, she does remind me of one of those porcelain dolls that you see in the movies that are like the creepy ones on the shelf. You don't know if it's gonna come alive and kill you or what. Or what? Can we compare where this was found to search map? Was LE there? You know, I could look back and see if there's a spot. The best one that I have in here is let's see, not that one. Sorry, it was right before this one. No, the green flag. Sorry. Okay, here we go. This one's kind of decent, I think, but I think I have one more that it's in here. Because you can't see the road in this one. Hold on, this is the wrong one. Sorry. We might have to pull it up on a separate map and see where it even is. It's right by Worsham's. It's right on, Long Hollow. Is that right? I'm horrible with directions, guys. Don't ask me when it comes to that just because I know I've been there a couple of times, but where's the oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I just went right back over it. Okay. Yeah, you still can't really see it. I thought it might be that one. You can't really see the streets on it. I mean, because this is Long Hollow is the one with the check marks. I guess maybe Dogs is a good one to look at. There we go. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you still can't really tell. And this is all 32 to 3600 block. I don't know what they're talking about for June 1st, though. That's another thing I don't understand that. All right, let's see. So, yeah, the mattress pad, they need to do something about that. They do. They need to do something about the mattress pad, all the crap that they've been pulling. Again, did anyone question the proud fee or anyone? Because I think they would find that they're full of shit. But did anybody bring anyone in for proper questioning? Because I mean, no offense to Seth, but Seth didn't even get properly questioned, as far as I know. Allegedly, crap is leaving in the house. KP owned those darn ticks. Yeah, I don't, I don't know. I've heard that they're not living there, and that Crabtree was living there, but then I didn't see his truck when I went there this last time. I wanted to go to the neighborhood when it was dark because I'd never been there when it was dark before. So, hung out all day, catching flies. Marion says, "I'm so bad at directions. I get lost in the Walmart." Oh, that's funny, Marion. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'll forget where I parked. That's even worse, I think, Marion. I'll be like, "Where did I park again?" Uh, I don't think so. I mean, I've heard a couple of different things. I can say that I can't verify that either way, Sabrina, but I mean, as far as I know and what I've heard, because unless Katie's van, which was always parked in the driveway, was parked in the garage. I don't even know if she works for Brinks anymore. You know? Um Hey, my PTSD. The mattress pad reminds me of if you have something rolled up and then oh. Oh, no worries, no worries. I'll wait till you type it in again. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, Sasha, if they've done any type of Blue Star or anything on it. That's what I mean. I don't even know if they did any of that in the house. I think they had attorneys too. I know there's been a lot of talk about Katie lawyering up at a certain point, but I don't think that's true. I think that she had a lawyer the whole time, in my opinion, but that was when she decided to bust him out in front of everyone, right? I think she already had a lawyer retained, ready to go. I do. Because you can hear different people in the background and the way that they were treated. Yeah, I think that they and look, this is the thing that you have to tell the police if you don't want to talk to them. I'm going to get a lawyer, right? Now, sometimes they'll back off of you, right? If they don't have enough evidence, they'll back off because they have to, right? By law, because everybody's entitled to have a lawyer. But if they really want to, you're taking a huge risk because if they want to and if they're convinced enough and they have probable cause and you say I'm going to get a lawyer, well then you had better get one because they're probably going to, you know, get probable cause warrants and whatnot. I mean, it's just like when Al Stock was talking about how he didn't want his daughter questioned. And he goes, "Well, I mean, you can give us permission or not. I mean, it's going to happen. We're going to do it anyway, right?" So, and laws are different in different states and all of that kind of stuff. So we do have to consider that as well. But, um, you know, I don't know. Katie could have said she had a lawyer and they backed off of her. IML says, has anyone been to any of Crabtree's streams and seen if the background looks familiar? Oh, that's a good idea. No, I haven't. I haven't. I'm like, if he's living there, whatever. Like, I don't know what to do. I mean, here's the thing. If there was any type of indication of, well, I mean, of blood, because like in Gannon's story too, it's the same thing. When the police were there, you can't see when somebody has cleaned up, but when you hit it with that blue star, it all becomes very, very clear, right? Because um, you can see the spatter, you can see where there's saturation and different. I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, even a little bit would hit. But I don't even know if their cars were processed because I don't know if they lost their cars for a couple days or what was going on. I just don't know. I don't know. And it seems like they were very cozied up with LE. So, was there ever a reason given for not letting America's Most Wanted in Sebastian's room or living space? Never. Never, Sabrina. And as a matter of fact, America's Most Wanted decided not to show the entirety of the lights video. So they just showed a light source leaving the house and meeting another one. They never showed anybody going back to the house. So I'm pretty much done. I have not watched a single episode of America's Most Wanted since then. The fact that they didn't go to the house, it's insane. 44,000 miles last year says she might still work for Brinks, but I don't know. Well, the thing is in some of that public information, there was a couple of discrepancies though, Sasha. So I don't know if I'm not gonna go off of that just because, like, for example, one of the dates didn't match up. They were saying that um Katie lived in that house from all the way up until January 25 or something like that, but January 25 hadn't happened yet. I'd have to go back and look, but there was a couple of things where like those public knowledge and public search sites aren't always accurate. We'll just say that. Like I mean, like anything else. So, but I don't know. I just think I just think she might not work for him because I didn't see a work truck or work van out there. There wasn't one whenever KJ went by there. Um, yeah, they didn't. No, I know Funtuski. Yeah, they didn't go to the house. They went. They had a place in Nashville allegedly. Yeah, like I heard they went to an Airbnb. You know, so asking for a lawyer stops the cops and CPs. Yeah, dead in their tracks. Right. I know she isn't dumb, and that's exactly it. It does. It does, because here's the thing, then you're being questioned with a lawyer there. The lawyer is going to tell you, what to answer, not to answer. It changes the whole thing. It changes the whole thing. And, for those of you who don't know, this is Brittany Gosney, and she did not have a lawyer, nor did she ask for one, nor did she even realize that she had the right to have one there. And that's why she was so easily, other than the fact that, she isn't entitled like Katie. She's more common than Katie. My PTSD says rolled up and then the liquid drains towards the end, aimed downward. I can't think of a comparison, but it's some crafting projects I've messed up. I'm not even gonna get funky pattern. Oh, um, I mean, I'll tell you, I think you might be talking about the way the blood splatters around. Um, it's just awful. It is heart-wrenching. It's heart-wrenching for Seth. It absolutely is. Because there's just so much, in my opinion, and I remember Tony saying a mountain of evidence against Chris and Katie. But then they're waiting and they're looking for or they're waiting for Sebastian, not looking for him. Excuse me. I just noticed something that Katie and Sheriff Craddock are making the exact same face as the pig. Okay. Anyway, woohoo! Oh boy. Hmm. That's awkward. Okay, the TBI narrative versus reality, right? And we were talking about this earlier, but I kind of want to show you guys like on the big screen, so I can point different things out. So, obviously this is a completely different picture and time than this visit, right? Of the next 5 pictures. Um, this right here is Katie asking him why, and we were talking about this earlier because our friend group had sent me a message talking about how with sensory overload and people who are on the spectrum, when they do have an autistic meltdown, it's like a pop bottle, right? And every time you shake that pop bottle, it's going to build pressure inside of it. And once you release that pressure and pop the top off, um, that's where you get like that explosion from, right? When someone's on the spectrum. And so we were talking about the fact that it appears Sebastian did not go bowling like we all thought he did. And this was a planned thing. Like they planned on going bowling. He was excited to do it. He would have been excited to do that. I know Seth has said that before as well. And I don't know if there was a meltdown or a meltdown occurred, but it seems like Sebastian is pretty calm at the table. He seems hungry, but he's calm. And I just find it interesting that Katie seems to be scolding him for no apparent reason. And also, I wonder where they went instead of going bowling. Because as we talked about earlier, if you're planning on going bowling before dinner, then you're probably going to get there a couple hours early. And if you realize when you get there that you can't bowl, then you're going to have some time to kill before dinner, right? So I just wanted to point all of that out. Sebastian doesn't look happy with what's happening. He just doesn't. So, right. And I think that in the court of my public opinion, I think that these two deserve handcuffs. Now, Chris, there's still time for you, right? Because you weren't home. So all the roads lead to Katie. Every single one of those roads leads right to Katie. So I wonder what you're going to do, Chris, when shit really hits the fan. Interesting. All right. And let's bring Sebastian home to his dad. So, all right, guys. So I just wanted to share that little video with you guys on Night Court. Let's see here. I think that is it. Put myself back up here somewhere. No, I don't want to be there. There we go. So, yeah, that is what I have for you guys. I think that might be part of what they're trying to hone in on. I don't know what those check marks were on the Sartopo map. If you go in to Sartopo, if you have access to that map, you can actually go in there and pinpoint things. Well, I've never been in Sartopo, but I've used Caltopo, and I know how it works in terms of looking back at search data and information. So, I mean, there would be ways of figuring out what those check marks are, because there's typically a key where it explains what each symbol is, and all of that. Hey, Scranton, good to see you. Thank you for hitting that like button. Um, Sasha says Strike and Spare has tons of activities, not just bowling. So what really happened at Strike and Spare with the unmentionable family member? So look, I'm right there with you, Sasha. I said it earlier today. I said if it was me and my daughter, right? Because I don't have a son, but I have a daughter. And if we had planned on going bowling, right? And then we're gonna go to dinner, we would get there a couple hours early, right? Get our shoes, all that, pick our ball. But if we, so it'd take a couple hours. But if we went up there and we just, right off the bat found out that there was leagues bowling and stuff, I might look over at her and say, well, do you want to, you know, do something different in here, right? Because there's like all kinds of things to do at the Strike and Spare. There's arcade games and things. And see, that's what they were telling us, and Chris Proudfoot was telling us, is that instead of bowling, they went and, played some games for a while, because you're going to kill time before dinner, right? Otherwise, why don't you might as well just go home. And maybe they did. Maybe they decided to go home. There was a meltdown, there was an issue, and then maybe they went up to the Texas Roadhouse anyway. And that's why whenever we see Sebastian getting out of the vehicle, he's holding his fingers in his ears, and he's plugged his ears up and he's walking. It could have been the loud music outside, because it is loud outside the Texas Roadhouse. But there could have been something, and they had time to kill because they didn't go bowling like they said they did, and they didn't play games. So also, it appears that um Sebastian's hairstyle was a little bit different um, from the picture that At Night released, and then the pictures that we see at the Texas Roadhouse. So, um, I mean, just so much to kind of unpack there, um, because really, not a whole lot of it makes sense. Hello, all that is unseen. All that is unseen says if there was too much noise in the bowling alley, it might have been hard for Sebastian. It might have been hard for Sebastian. You know, he seemed like he liked the bowling alley. In the one clip that Katie shared, and he was cool with it. The Texas Roadhouse is super loud though. Um, when I did my video when I was there, we parked quite far away from the building, and like you could absolutely hear the music when you were sitting in the car, when you got out of the car, you know, when obviously when you're walking closer, but um it's very loud. There's speakers all over and cameras all over the outside. Um so I don't know how many different camera angles. It would be nice to have some different camera angles where we can see what Katie's saying, in my opinion too, you know. So um I'm taking it evil exists, or she's I'm talking evil exists, dogs hits, and matching it with the items found with maps. Yep, I'm about to lay out the evidence. We have and get Dean on the phone. Well, I'll tell you, there, in my opinion, is a lot. There's a lot of evidence. And also with the dogs, I will just say that the dogs were not scent specific. I just want to remind everybody that the dogs were not scent specific, and I do not think I'm a dog expert because I had Jules up, guys. No, I'm just kidding. But I always have to remember and remind myself of that the dogs were not scent specific. So what that means is that they didn't actually get a scent of Sebastian. So, you know, there's that. So I just, you know, according to a psychic reading, she said Sebastian still in afterlife doesn't want to disappoint or want Katie to go to jail. Oh, well, I mean, I think that's true, Kylie Ray. I mean, I don't know how accurate that person is, or isn't. But I will tell you, we did talk about that a little bit too. I think I don't know if it was today or yesterday now. But we we talked about the fact that when you're in that situation, especially if you're a kid, you don't want any of the adults to get in trouble. You don't want to be the one to rock the boat. You don't want any turmoil in the family. You just want, you know, things to get better and things to be normal. You don't want the fighting, you don't want the crap, you don't want anybody to get in trouble, and you love all of their parents, even a stupid ass stepfoot, because kids love unconditionally and they're looking for approval, you know? And it's sad when we see, you know, Sebastian, who's a sweetheart, get treated like crap by his stepfoot. You know, that's terrible. So it's interesting that KP had many phone numbers too. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, it's crazy that she changed her phone number. You know, it's crazy that she even changed her phone number because what if Sebastian wanted to call her? Um, they've used remote viewing and psychics for over 50 years in CIA, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do, Kylie. I mean, and that's the thing. There's people out there that have gifts, you know. I think we all have them, you know. We can all bring something to the table. Um, the dogs can smell adrenaline sweat. I'm looking for the person pushing adrenaline from doing this horrible act. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Sasha. Well, and even going back to that ditch is again something where it's not like somebody could kind of, how do I say, walk through it easily in the dark. Not at all, because it's there's rocks and different things, and you know when you step on a rock and it kind of moves another rock, you could slip. Um, So Sasha says, and where else or what where the adrenaline went, because the adrenaline sweater is my perp. Right, Sasha? I'm following and the dog had smell the adrenaline. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I wondered too about if maybe the dogs were picking up on just anyone, which obviously they were since they were not sense specific. So I think that you're onto something. I mean, they definitely were out in the neighborhood that night. If the 3 a.m. video is what I think it is. Um, I can't say 100%. But I don't know why Bobby the neighbor would decide to do something like that. I mean, I don't think she's crazy or anything like that. I mean, I think she's too trusting, but that's not something that somebody should be flawed for or whatever, in my opinion. But I do think she was thinking that Crabtree and UA were her friends, and they're nobody's friends. They're not even their own friend. Um Chi says, please hit that like button. Thank you, Chi. And Little Miss Sharon says that they live there and they know how the ditch was and had lights. Yeah, I think so. I think that's why I think it was headlamps, Little Miss Sharon. I do. I do think it was headlamps. I really do because I think that would be a smarter strategy and like a hands-free way to be able to do what they had to do, what I think they did. Um, I just don't think that they would go back to the house if they didn't have to. Like if they forgot something of Sebastian's, which I mean, look, that would require them to have well, I guess it would require us to know what Sebastian's clothes were and which ones he liked to wear because they could have put all of his favorite clothes in a bag and bought him some new ones to put in the closet, and had him wear those ones for a while. Again, I think that there's a lot to what happened here in the way of there was the CPS reports, there was the tumultuous relationship between Chris and Katie, there was the talks of sending Sebastian to a school, there was more CPS reports, there was counseling for Sebastian, right? So we have all of this to consider leading up to Sebastian's disappearance. And then let's see. At night, intelligence says that they are interested in a time frame. All right, they're interested in a time frame. And it looks like it would have been, let me go back to the 23rd, which would have been the Friday before he went missing, right? So, well, yes, the Friday before. And I know a lot of people were talking about the poker party. Sorry, I had to grab my computer so my computer doesn't die. I have to plug it in. Um, so yeah, that's to be considered as well, right? People were saying there was a poker party or some sort of a get together on that Friday, right? The last time that Seth spoke to Sebastian was that Thursday. So maybe that's why they're looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Obviously into Monday. Um, no, Tam, I do not know KK. Oh, no, 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 ma'am. No. And, in the beginning, Tam, I was thinking that maybe Katie didn't have involvement, but I was wrong about that. Or Seth about his child is the ditch, Sasha, the ditch. Um, aw, thank you, Robini. Tam says, okay, read that one. We know Sebastian and we're gonna get justice for him. Everything is speculation, allegedly, in my opinion. Well, hey, we need to, hammer out the details here because obviously there's something we're all missing. We all had, and some still have it. It's a government numbering and double human by fluoride, et cetera, et cetera. Everything, food, water, toothpaste, air, vaccines. I know. Yeah, Kylie, I know. Yeah, the government is horrible. Wasn't there an incident earlier that day with a family member? I heard that somewhere. You know, I think I heard something about that as well. I was going over some older posts from Melissa in particular, because she was kind of out on Facebook and saying things, and then she stopped altogether saying things because it was just digging them a greater hole. But I was gonna go over some of that stuff with you guys too. Um, he wasn't even a red flag word in trouble, and tells me Sebastian was in trouble for something. Yeah, I mean they kept saying it too. They're like, "You're not in trouble. Come home. Oh, it would have made more sense if we were fighting." That sort of thing. So, no, Tam, no. Oh my goodness, no. Um, I mean, I would talk to Katie if she would talk to me by herself, without Chris right there, because I don't want to talk to Chris. But so I don't think that will ever happen. Plus, I just wouldn't want to hear from Chris if he wasn't there, you know? So if he wasn't there, why do I want to hear from what he has to say about it? I don't. I don't care. If you're in Memphis, you're in Memphis. Uh, Franceschi says Teal was the one who put out the information on the poker party the Friday night. Do we believe her info? I mean, I know. I don't know. I don't. I really don't, because I know Justin had her up on panel and for to talk about it, and then I can't find it anywhere. So I think he took it down because I think he probably thought she was full of crap. Is my best guess. And I trust Justin. He does a good job, and he's not um he's about receipts, not about, deceiving people and stuff. Terry Lynn, on the other hand, is all about deceiving people, no receipts, just a complete dirtbag, in my opinion. Um, hey Carla, good to see you. So yeah, I think it's definitely, and the thing about why I put elevated goof in the mix of that, other than the fact that, he talks to all of those people and maybe they, have told him, information, but I think that he's spoken to Chris and Katie obviously directly because of that night he was about to, blow the lid off of everybody. And then everybody came and bum rushed his panel. So there's that. Crazy bird. That's hilarious. No. Oh God, no. Oh my gosh. No, no, no. Crazy bird says, "Come on, lady, don't you want to get close enough to Chris so you can give him a hard kick, and you know where?" I do, she says. That's funny. No, no. If I saw him, I would immediately turn and walk the other direction. I know it. I know it. Um, now Katie, because I was thinking about it, because they were upset about that picture that people, or the video people got of Katie going into the salon. And I was like, you know, if I saw Katie out and about somewhere, right, as she likes to call it, out and about, I would, um, I would try to get a nail appointment next to her and talk to her, even though she already knows who I am, I'm sure. But I'd be like, "So, how are you?" You know how girls are, like, talking when you're in the salon and stuff, so I don't know, I would. But Chris, I would go the other direction. So, um, but yeah, I would just like to know, um, but Katie's the type of person that clams up. Look, we had a panel guest, right, from the gathering, and I had a couple of girls up, right? I had KJ's campfire, and I had a girl who was named Alana, and she was nice enough to come up and talk with us. And she said that she saw Katie out at the courthouse, and Katie looked at her and said, "Thank you for wearing a green shirt for Sebastian." And she said, "Where is Sebastian?" And she said that Katie's face turned bright ass red, and then Chris came around, and her knight in shining armor came and swooped in. So, and Holly agrees with Funtuski. What surgery do you have? Oh, I didn't know you had a surgery, Funtuski. Oh my goodness. Aw. I'm so glad you're here then. Aw. Yes, Chuchi's getting ready for hers too, Chuchi. Oh, I forgot to ask you, Chuchi, if your son won his baseball game today. I meant to ask. I'm telling you, it's been crazy, crazy busy with all this stuff. I was trying to figure out what the heck it all means. Brad says, "Why didn't Chris and Katie join you at the gathering? If they're innocent, why not join you?" I mean, I don't know, Brad. I mean, if look, I know how to like ignore people like the best of them, you know? And that's because again, I'm divorced, and so you learn to do that, right? Because you want to be there for the kid. So you learn to just tolerate people even though you don't like them or want to be around them. So I just don't understand why they wouldn't come. I don't understand why they wouldn't do something special for Sebastian themselves, you know? Hey, KJ, good to see you. Oh no, your power's off? Yeah, so like I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. It is just crazy, crazy, crazy. Um to me. And then also Chris was on Queen Bee's panel and said that if he was us, that he wouldn't go to the if I was them, I wouldn't do it. I'm gonna give you a word of advice or some shit like this. And then, nothing happened except for one officer acting a fool, but other than that, you know. Yeah, Gigi, they've never advocated. They have never advocated. Mm-mm, ever. Never have they ever. And it's sad, you know. Yes, Kylie, she did. She glowed bright red. Oh, she did, and Chris was right there to swoop in. I'm telling you, because Alana has been to a lot of the court cases, or excuse me, the court dates and things like that, and she's very much an advocate for Sebastian. It was so nice, meeting her and being able to do that with her. And I'll tell you what, mm-mm. Katie is. I mean, she's 1000% guilty and acts like it, in my opinion. I can see right through it, and I know a lot of you guys can too. She'd blow a police interview, in my opinion. I bet CP has her on a tight leash. Oh, for sure. Oh, she'd absolutely blow it. Oh, she's blown so many, but he's blown it too. It's like who has 5 CPS reports and goes on a panel in front of the whole world and proclaims that he beat his autistic stepson with a belt. Like who does that? What person that has intelligence or any type of conscience even, because he obviously thinks it's okay. He thought he was going to have a whole bunch of people out there. Oh, yeah, it's okay to do that. You know? So, aw. Hey, K9 Jules, good to see you. I was just I was just telling everybody about the sense not scent specific dogs, and I was like, I don't think I'm an expert just because I've had Jules on the panel. Good to see you, Jules. Tam has packages small like want a ring to come in. He's itty bitty. He's an itty bitty little pissy pants. Oh, that was a wild interview. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. A lot of their interviews have been crazy because Chris doesn't like to have to answer questions. He got real froggy on the March 17th one with Duchess. Oh, he was real froggy because people wanted to know about the lie detector test. People wanted to know about everything, right? And he just was like, oh, why do you want to know if the house was clean? What do you want to know? Who's asking? You were the chat, Actually, I think that was on Smiley, my bad. But either way, I mean, it's just like, and he was confronted by Trev Time on that panel in March because he was threatening Seth's mother and disrespecting her. Like, wow. But we see how he treats his own mother. Brad says Katie is a horrible mother and she's trash. Brad, I'd have to agree. I mean, how could you not go out and do anything, spread awareness? They could have been in another part of the, town or area spreading flyers or doing a cake for Sebastian. They don't do those kinds of things. If they don't do it for him when he's missing, I wonder what they did, what they didn't do for him when he was still with them, and living at their house. I don't know. I know, lover girl. I know. It sucks. It sucks because we know that they have involvement, in my opinion. And, law enforcement has told us that without telling us that, because they're not saying, oh my gosh, there's someone that snatched up Sebastian. We have to be careful with the kids. Nope. They know who did it, just like we know who did it, just like the people who did it know who did it. Right. But they're waiting to find Sebastian. So, I think that again, if they would have done their job in the beginning, we wouldn't be here. And if they were going to double down and not tell the truth, then both of them would be locked up and we might be at trial or something right now. So she glows bright red in interviews every time she lies to gives herself away. Yeah, she does. She does. Kylie, and I was thinking maybe that's like a rosacea because I know like stress will set off rosacea. Because she does. She glows red. Mhm. She sure does. And you can tell what you can see her emotions on her face, or not her emotions, but her, what she's thinking inside, which is guilt, in my opinion, like you're saying. Brad, he was abusive to her children more so than her, although she might have withheld some of the details. But I think Chris was absolutely abusing Nina in a narcissistic fashion, right? Because there's a such thing as narcissistic abuse, and some narcissists are not physical. Some of them are both, but sometimes they're, but if you're a narcissist, you're going to display um, horrible behaviors towards people, especially the ones you're closest to. And it's absolutely abusive behavior, gaslighting, just the mental manipulation. Basically, you're not important, they are. If you're dealing with a narcissist, they could care less about any of the things that you do. They're jealous of you. If you accomplish something, they're not proud of you, they're not happy for you, they're the exact opposite. So thank you, Jules. Yeah, big difference in scent specific and non. Yeah, because people were saying earlier that Sebastian's scent was tracked, and I'm like, it wasn't though, because the dogs weren't scent specific. Which I mean, I always have to remind myself of that too. So, um, yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah, because and he was saying that afterwards, right? Because yeah, that was after March 17th, I believe. And then he was supposed to take a polygraph with Nancy Grace because on March 25th, he told her, name the time and place, ma'am, and I'll be there. Yeah. Funtuski says, Tam, how long did you have? Oh, sorry, guys. That's personal conversation. That's why KT dislikes others that support Seth because they advocate for Sebastian and she doesn't. Chris P should have kept his mouth shut and yeah, he be, um, he brought awareness to us. Well, and I mean, I think a lot of his statements really ticked us off, right, Gigi? Like when he's talking about how I didn't think it was going to get this big and, talking so much crap about Sebastian and saying all the things that he said about him. I agree. I absolutely agree. And he fuels our fire, right? He inspires us. And KJ says, I don't believe Sebastian ever went home. If we can prove that, it just proves everything they have said, and that is when the games will begin if they aren't arrested at that point. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that really gets me. I just don't know that Sebastian's mom would have taken his shoes and, left him somewhere unless maybe she dropped him off off a stop 30, took his shoes so he wouldn't want to walk around without them. And maybe somebody came up and grabbed him they had it planned out because I just don't see them doing it by the Texas Roadhouse because of the cameras, and I don't see them doing it over at the BP because of the cameras. And again, I can't get verification on that exact sighting, like who saw Katie, who saw her, and even then, is it just someone who wants recognition online? Is it just someone who wants to be a part of the story and look important and have people asking them questions and commenting back to their comment? Because, as sick as it is, there's people that out there that do that. They're not helping. It's all self-serving. So, I bet she watched by him 24/7. I mean, Katie is in my opinion, Katie is capable of doing something horrible, in my opinion, to Sebastian. I didn't always think that. But the more I analyze other cases and her behaviors and the way that she acts, I definitely think that she's got direct involvement. Yeah, he was threatening his mother, he was threatening his sister. Yeah. Hey, he was wholly pissed off about that GoFundMe. Hey Babs, if Sebastian was handed off to a school, his shoes, phone, everything would have been left behind. Yeah, that is true. That is true. They take the kids without their shoes. They do, which is really weird, right, Babs? I'm like, what? Why? Right? But they do. They took Paris Hilton without her shoes. They take kids without their shoes. Yeah, they sure do. Asher, good to see you. Oh, thank you for being here though, Asher. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, Asher. Oh, well, we're definitely gonna say prayers for you. Oh, thank you, Chuchi. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is such a great loss. I'm so sorry. Brad says the poor kid was wanting to live with Seth and never got to. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that, Brad. I do. I do. And I think that's why it's important to kind of go back and see what kind of options they were looking at, because obviously they did not want to have Sebastian living with them. And I hate saying that because I don't want to be mean and hateful and have him hear that, because that is so hurtful, but when we're looking at the facts, that's what we're left with, you know? So TJ thinks that he had two pairs of those shoes and the same outfit. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I think that was one of their biggest mistakes that they made, was that they forgot about the shoes. And then that brings me back to them carrying him out of the house off of Stafford, or excuse me, uh, to Stafford and Kellen over there. Um, because see, that's where I get a roadblock put up. Um, and also because Seth says that when he went to the house, all of Sebastian's shoes were by the door where they usually are. Now that's not to say that he didn't have extra shoes that Seth didn't know about. That's, a strong possibility. I think Katie is very dark. Um, there's that one picture that I have where her eyes look dead, right? She just looks like, you know, void. There's nothing, you know. The lights are on, but no one's home. Holly says, I think him bitching about Seth taking out the GoFundMe, which was just a distraction. Yeah, they're great at distracting. Yeah, I agree. I remember the property lines when D came to the house. It was just a distraction. That's true. You know, they're both yelling, they're both screaming about it, right? The whole time, not saying anything or trying to find Sebastian. It's all about, the distraction. I got you. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. And, they definitely have started that circus. And the thing about the GoFundMe, Holly, which I find to be the craziest thing, is that, Chris is the one that brought up the GoFundMe originally. He said he brought it up to law enforcement, and that law enforcement told him that it's not a good look. And so they decided not to do it. And then Seth's sister did a GoFundMe for Seth, and all hell broke loose. You know? As far as I'm concerned, KP is fully responsible. She was the one at home, only her, and she heard the thud. She's up in the middle of the night and she left in the morning, didn't call 911. I mean, I believe that her light was on in her bedroom, Sasha. I do. I do. And what's up with Katie's iWatch history? We're reading over all of Letitia Stauch's Google searches, all of her deleted phone searches, but we ain't got nothing on Katie. Very suspicious, Sasha. Very. Someone's covering her ass. I mean, it definitely seems that way. Bab says I watched a documentary where kids was taken at 2 a.m. while sleeping to an island to a school where he spent 2 years for his behavioral reasons. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Aw, Asher. Aw, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so sorry. My goodness. I'm very glad you're here though. Um, I think that the schools are a big one. It's just overwhelming to think about the schools for me, because I've been thinking about it for a very long time. um, a very long time. Obviously, especially once the E's came out, and Tony was on Mr. and Mrs. E's crime cast, and they were talking about the schools and everything, and about Bledsoe Youth Academy, and about the schools in Utah and Missouri and Texas. um it definitely opened up possibilities for me for schools. um But again, it's very overwhelming to think, because even when Bullhorn Betty was talking about schools, and so she said, we need to get on the horn with the schools. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And so I'm like thinking that they were looking for Sebastian to go to a school for autistic children or autistic teens. They weren't, though, guys. They were looking for behavioral reasons, like Babs is saying. So the schools that I called in Missouri were not the schools that they would have been looking at. And I highly doubt they're going to put him in one of those 4 schools, because I'm pretty sure that's been checked out. And if that hasn't been checked out, dog, I'm coming for you. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, for real, we need to check that stuff out, because, those are the easy ones. Right? Those are the ones we know they were looking at. Now, one thing that scares the crap out of me is that there is high levels of abuse in these schools. And so, I would hope that nothing bad happened to Sebastian when he's in there or something like that. That's another thing that creeps into my brain when I don't want it to. But it is something to consider. It's crazy to me that the police would protect this woman, in my opinion. I mean, me too, Holly. That's why I'm like, hey, Craddock, can I have a one-on-one and really ask you just a few questions? And that would be my main question. Like, why are you protecting her? What are you? I mean, look, he's living the life. He's living the dream. Why would he mess that up for them? Unless he thinks that he's that all powerful and he's never going to be, caught. So, or he's just evil to the bone. Maybe I should take a poll. You guys think that Craddock is just evil to the bone? Or what? Because I mean, look, he seems to play by the rules. But then he's obviously not with this. And then he's a great public speaker, but he never comes out and talks. And will the real Detective Carter please stand up? Where the hell is that guy at? Like, he's gone. We don't ever hear from him, and we've never heard from him. Oh, here's the lieutenant on the, flyers for Sebastian. If you have any tips, call this guy. And he's never, cracked a case before. He's never even cut his little baby teeth on nothing. He's a rookie. He sucks. I know, that's not nice, but I mean, come on. What's this guy doing? And my other issue is why is this guy given this case in the first place? Cinderella, hey, Cinderella says, in my opinion, when they went to BJ's, new items were bought for him: shirt, pants, shoes, and toiletries for his long time away from home. That's interesting, Cinderella. Thank you for letting me know that. Um, I don't know. And see, this is what goes back to the police as well. I mean, the police would know that, wouldn't they? They would see that they bought items that day. I just think it's so risky for them to do something like that. And we always see people getting caught that way, right? And they're like, oh, then we found a Walmart receipt in the, in his floorboard. They go to Walmart, get the surveillance, and they're buying lime and a rope and a shovel. And, I mean, come on. And so I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I know it was alleged that there was some shoes purchased that day, but again, I think that was the biggest misstep in their scheme there. was the shoes. He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing. Oh, Katie. She also claims she didn't check on the child, so neglect and disposal seems likely for her. Well, I mean, I know. I mean, that's the thing, Sasha. That's what bothers me about Katie. It really does. It bothers me that I think that she could be capable of doing such an awful thing. Bab says if Sebastian is alive, he knows by now that they didn't want to deal with him anymore. I think he'll return when he's 18. Yeah, Babs, I don't know. I don't know, girl. I have no idea. You know, there I talked about the leakage with Chris Proudfoot and that there's a strong possibility even with Katie. Um there's a strong possibility that, that is part of what's he's leaked out because he's the one that told everybody that, you know. Um, Franceschi says, "Baby, is that the one in Pacific Ocean? Uh, the behavioral camps. How bitter he was allegedly. I don't, I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I think their biggest mistake was the shoes, KJ. I do. I do. I think that was one of the big ones. I did 17 mistakes by the Proud Feet, and I could have kept going. I did that when Sebastian turned 17. Um, yeah, I mean they made a lot of mistakes that, I'm sure law enforcement is aware of. I would hope so. Um, I would hope so. Katie is a narcissistic a sociopath, manipulator, hater, hates kids, and in my opinion, no patience. Never did. Um, when born, took off, excused to the Navy. Yeah, paid getaway. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I tried really hard, Kylie Ray, not to fault her for that, because I mean, I believe women need to work and stuff and um, fulfill their dreams and everything. But that was a tough one. I think what really bothered me about that situation is that she left, Seth to tend to Sebastian, and then she turned around when she thought that she had Chris Proudfoot in the bag and was mistreating Seth and saying that he was a horrible, awful person when really it just was because it didn't work out. Right? And people do get hurt and people do hurt each other when they're hurt. Divorces are awful, hateful situations. Most of the time, not amicable. Sometimes they are. But either way, that's what I didn't like about that whole situation. It's like, how are you going to leave your son with his father to be raised and then turn around and say he's abusive and a horrible guy and this, that, and everything under the sun. That is vindictive as fudge. Very vindictive. I don't like it. Because if he was good enough to leave the kid with when you all were together, when you wanted to go out and do your thing, then he's good enough, period. Right? Either that or there's something wrong with you. Again, that is her fault, right? Because if you know that somebody's horrible and you leave your kids with them anyway, that's neglect, even if it's their own other parent. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. So, um, well, I know the whole reprogramming and the training and all of that being completed, that is par for the course with those schools. You're right. It is. It certainly is. They usually boot the kids out when they're 18, right? Um, that's typical because they're an adult and that you can't hold the adults behind, against their will anymore. That's the best case scenario, guys. I mean, uh, if we're again listening to leakage from Proudfoot, Sebastian's going to come back and need a lot of counseling. Either that or he's dead in the woods somewhere, is exactly what he said. I don't know. It's one extreme or the next. because, being alive is one thing and being dead in the woods is another. And if you heard a thud and didn't check and the child was missing when she mentioned that earlier, it's odd. She never mentions it until she speaks to Smiley, right? Never mentioned the thud to old Dutchie. Nope, never did. Either that or Dutch didn't figure on talking about it, which, that's par for the course. She's the one that likes to polish up turds. Bab says, in my opinion, there was no thud. This was planned. Well, I don't see how there could have been a thud because that would require Sebastian like falling out of the bed or something like that, right? Because I mean, he's got carpet in his room. Yeah, I can see that being a strong possibility. Lovergirl says that was one of the first red flags I noticed with Chris and Katie was how they flipped about the GoFundMe. Yeah, they did. I don't have a fucking GoFundMe to pay my bills. What a jerk. What a jerk. That's a great point, Lovergirl. Funtuski says, Babs, yes, I remember um, that and think of the teenagers taken by the Dr. Phil show. Yeah, yes, that's true. Complaining about their behavior problems, in my opinion. Yeah, they do. Those ranches, they got all they have ranches, they have this, and then there's Christian based ones. I mean, there's like a whole slew of them. Holly says, when I think about it, I don't know why it mattered one way or another to Chris whether or not Seth had a GoFundMe. It wasn't any of his business, and it's nothing to do with finding Sebastian. Well, and the thing about it, too, I think his sister, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, um, recognized that, Seth is driving back and forth from Clarksville to Hendersonville, that he was going to have to take off of work and that he wasn't going to go back to work if Sebastian's out there somewhere, right? Time is of the essence. If they're saying Sebastian walked off without any shoes on, then he could have very well been hurt somewhere in the woods, just walking with no shoes, right? So, and we're going to get more into that too, Holly, because I have a lot more information I wanted to share with you guys as well on that. Um, her auntie proved who's a little spoiled and get her. Yeah, she likes to get her way. Oh yeah, very manipulative, you know. Since she was a kid, yeah, she hasn't changed. She's a manipulator. I agree, Kelly Ray. And I know Yada acted like a moron in my opinion. But, I believe her when she came out and talked about how Seth asked for Katie's hand in marriage, that, also dispelled that crap that SF was pushing out there, but really painted Katie as the person who we all kind of thought she was. Especially when you look at the way she acted in the Chronicles of Olivia interview. She acted like an entitled, spoiled little bitch, in my opinion, right? Choice words were used. Choice words. Where's your country accent, Katie? You know? I mean, I think he very well could be, and it's so overwhelming to think of which one they would have put him in? In my opinion, if she were innocent, she would have found that stranger by her vehicle very suspicious when she combed over that day and even the weeks before. I mean, I agree with that too, KJ. That's a very good observation. I mean, look, somebody's standing by my car when I get out of the restaurant with my kid. I'm going to be very protective. Even if it's a woman, even if it's a woman that's older. Now, when I approach them and they're coming through, I might say, come on through, ma'am, or something like that. But I would be on alert, and I understand that, and especially if something happened, I'd be definitely combing over those details. I'd be combing over the whole situation. But law enforcement also dropped the ball royally on that because they had the knowledge. They knew, right? They just knew that this had all happened at the Texas Roadhouse. They watched the videos, or they supposedly had the videos, but they never made contact until the public started wondering and asking questions, you know? Aw, right. I think thanks, IML. I wanted to put all the little detectives in there for night court. Aw, thanks. Oh, thank you, Tam. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was like, we need to go back over Silvers because I know they found all that in the woods there. That was wild. All the stuff they found it, back behind and Stop 30. I don't know why more people aren't looking at that because it's like, I mean, that's the place, isn't it? If you're gonna drop somebody off and do like a handoff, that would be the place. I mean, it would definitely be the place. Ooh, Alicia Hot Wheels brought us some lasagna. Listening and have been making lasagna, waiting to say I was on the fence about him making it home until you mentioned the shoes being snapped from him and taking back to the house. And now I fully believe they forgot to put his shoes on when they took him out of the house, that he did make it home. Oh, Alicia, I know. I'm sorry. I go. This is what I do to myself, though. I go back and forth, and I'm like, well, what if he didn't? And then I call it the fork in the road, right? Because my brain's like, I'm going down the right path, yay! And then all of a sudden, I start second guessing myself because I see a fork in the road, and I think, should I go down that way? On my merry little rabbit hole. Um, so I know. I know, it's really, really tough, isn't it? It's like, what's the dealio? Did he make it home or didn't he? I was so interested. I can't say I was shocked because I'm not. I was like, I didn't have any expectations, so I can't say I was shocked. But I was curious, obviously. So we did the poll, and so many people were like, no, I don't think that Sebastian even made it home. So I'm like, that's interesting. And guys, since we have 61 people in here, I want to go ahead and do my memberships for the month, or give away some memberships really quick. So just bear with me till I go over to this other part here, and that way I could do that. So, because I'm glad everybody's here. Give me 1 second. Not a poll. You guys made me think of the poll, and then I was like, okay, hold on. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, not that one. It's this one. All right. So I hope you guys get a membership. I'll do 5 tonight, and the next live we'll do 5 more. So, ooh, look. Okay. Oh, Babs got one. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe, guys. Yay. All right, that's fantastic. Yay, Green Mana Lishi. I don't know who that is. Gwen, good to have you, Gwen, and Courtney Marie and Audrey Miller, and also our Babs. Yay. Well, that's wonderful, guys. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe. I might have to go over there and renew that Discord link. So I'll make sure I do that because I think it probably did expire. So, well, there you go, guys. And that's our April, some of our April um, giveaways, right? Because they give us 10 a month that we can give. So I love doing that. Good night, Chuchi. Thank you for being here. Kylie Ray says, cunning Katie, always been since a kid. Her auntie said that they threatened her to go back to, um, going back to change. Yeah, her tune about Katie. Yeah, I remember when she went to Clues. Yeah, she did. She so did. Seth said already they were looking at horrible schools, a cheap one with a terrible record, and Seth said, no way. Yeah, that Bledsoe Youth Academy, and we read the docs on Bledsoe. I mean, they do not treat the kids nicely, you know? Um, so Brad says, could Sebastian be in another country? I just don't see with his age that being a factor, but I can't be 100% on it either, Brad, I just can't. I can't be on 100%. Sorry guys, I just realized I'm really behind in chat. Aw, thanks. Thank you, Holly. Yes, make sure your gifting is on. I still can't get past the feeling that Katie traded cars, taking Sebastian with her, and that it was a decoy that drove the Infinity into her garage, took the trash out, etc., until KK got home at 3. Oh, so you're thinking that there was like a switcheroo. I see what you're saying, KJ. So, um, that's interesting. I think that again, Stop 30 would have been a place to trade off. Would definitely have been a place to trade off. And that would make sense with the 3 a.m. lights. That would still make sense with the 3 a.m. lights because yeah, again, it's just so much. It is so much. How do I say? Coincidental behavior, right, and activity in the neighborhood for it not to be something. And even when it comes to the surveillance cameras being stuck, I believe it's stuck on the 23rd. So, I don't know. Just something to throw out there, but I think that could absolutely work for both, because you're welcome, Babs, because I mean, thinking about it, that would be a reason to risk going in the neighborhood that night. Because here's my thing: it's either all or nothing, right? I mean, you're either gonna do it or you're not. So if they're gonna do this thing, right, that would be taking Sebastian out at that time, or if it was part of the plan to switch. So yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting. Aw, thanks, Funtuski. Mom made a good point today. Sebastian Rogers was wearing a t-shirt at Texas Roadhouse. Garbage can was taken out by someone in a hoodie, and then supposedly Sebastian changed into pajamas. Does that really sound logical? I mean, I suppose if it got chilly and he wasn't wearing, a jacket at the Texas Roadhouse and he decided it was chilly, so he's going to throw a hoodie on really quick. Um, because I wouldn't wear a hoodie to bed. So yeah, that would make logical sense to me. But then again, I just don't understand why he would not take the trash out when he got home either. So I'm stuck on that too. Why wouldn't he just quick take the trash out? Um, yeah. So I mean, I guess it would if he got cold and he decided, that he wanted to wear it out, you know. Yeah, it was so obvious what Yada was up to after the fact. Oh, completely. Oh, yeah. I know. I haven't heard anything about her. I was just glad she didn't show up to the gathering. Don't say her name, Holly. She's like Beetlejuice. Yeah, I think that's very interesting, right, Babs? I do. I think it would work but with both. It would make things work both ways. So, because if they did a switch, which they very well could have in the time that was allotted, that would explain taking that huge risk. Bab says something went on with Sebastian, Katie, and others around 3 a.m. Monday morning. The whole story is made up and planned out. I think so too. I think Chris has, with his we, and all of that nonsense back and forth, he's definitely proved that to us, hasn't he? I mean, I think he's done a good job of proving that to us that he. was involved in a manufactured story to, scam us, I should say. So, 68. I don't know. It just depends. When it's 68 here, it's actually 68 degrees right here. I just looked at my computer. And if I was out at night, I might put something on. I don't know. I don't know. And I think maybe it got a little chilly. I know it was unseasonably warm. I know that because I know Seth has reminded me of that. He's come in and be like, just so you know, it was unseasonably warm, and I'm like, yeah, because I mean, a lot of people were dressed for cold weather at the Texas Roadhouse. Sebastian wasn't, obviously, but then again, some kids are okay with that. Some kids don't wear a jacket, so I kind of get it. So, Timu Chris and Timu Katie. All that is unseen says Sebastian Rogers had very distinct, was very distinct. Yeah, like his features. Yeah, I see what you're saying. In my opinion, black and whited soled shoes on the Texas Roadhouse, and I just don't know how those white bottoms would not light up in the camera across the street. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good observation too. You know, so she did. Little Miss Sharon. Oh my gosh, that woman is so crazy. I wonder what she said. I don't follow text. I'm like, text. It's all right though. If she wants to post about me, that's okay. She could do that. She, she got so freaked out when I asked her if she's the green hoodie. Oh shit. Fontuski says, why now information on Laura and E? The boys were close in age and perhaps in height and body shape. If my friend traveled to my home, I would have my friend visit me at my house. Yeah, and planning. No, I know that's another thing too with Lori, and maybe that's another reason why they're asking for footage from Friday too. Because again, Katie's friend was supposedly visiting as well. So they would have put the black hoodie and black pants on so nobody could see them carrying him out. Like the picture you have showing two people holding Sebastian before going to the getaway car, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah. And that picture, they're still talking about it, Kylie Ray. They're still relentless with that picture and upset with me for whatever. And it's like, I don't see why they would be upset about it if it wasn't true. You know? I just don't I don't see why it would bother them so much. You know? Exactly. I know. You would think it would be a fun weekend, pizza party. Exactly. I would if I'm sleeping in the garage, would wear a hoodie. Oh, true that. True that. Katie saying that Sebastian would come in for treats and, come in the middle of the night and sneak snacks. Sneak snacks. Freaking rummage through the God, who says their kid rummages through their cabinets? Oh my God, I wouldn't dare, you know? My daughter's 24 years old, and if she comes in here, it's not rummaging. She could have whatever she wants. Like, I don't, wow, she's rummaging for snacks again. I hate it when my kid comes over and rummages through for snacks. She sneaks snacks. Like, what the fuck is that? Um, mm, yeah, where's Lori, Babs? I mean, I know there's so much to consider. And, them going by Dara's, that's another thing that kind of makes me wonder, did they go back by Dara's when they couldn't, play games, or they decided, I mean, and why did Katie lie about the games? Where did they go? Did they go back home? I mean, KJ says, in my opinion, it's suspicious that he was wearing a jacket, no electronics, except, or wasn't wearing a jacket, no electronics except for glasses. Everything on surveillance was found in the home, allegedly sus. Well, and I mean, that's the thing. It's like if there was any type of proof that Sebastian walked out the door himself, I would think he ran away from them because of the horrible situation, you know? So, yeah, those tents out there. Yep. Yeah. The picture is crystal clear. Exactly. Yeah. Lots of golf balls out there as well. Because they can see that what we can see in that picture. I mean, I know it's gotta be Kylie because they're still flipping out about it. Like if it was really a blob, they wouldn't be talking about it still. It would be like, these dummy YouTubers, like they would never waste their time, right? But since they're so fixated on it, makes you wonder. Miss Sharon. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to know what she said then. Oh Lord. I think she's gonna try to kill me one day. Oh my gosh. I think she might be gunning for me. Oh shit. Bab says, I think when Kay says he'd come in her way of saying he'd come into the kitchen. Oh, I gotcha. From his bedroom. I don't think it was meant from the garage. I say my son came in the kitchen. Oh, I gotcha. Like he'd come into the kitchen to sneak snacks. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, all right. Well, golly, I'm telling you, these little statement analysis can be rough because, like you said, it just depends on the baseline if they say it like that or not. Okay, so that makes me feel a little better. I always wondered about the garage, you know. Kylie Ray says, greedy Katie, don't pinch her snacks or her good drinks. Her house, her selfish eyes. I just can't believe he'd come in rummaging. I'm like, oh my God, he's not rummaging in his own house. How's that rummaging in his own fridge? Like, that's his house too, isn't it, Katie? Good Lord. Fontuski says, who stops your children from going into the kitchen? I just asked the children to write down if they had the last or one drink of the last milk, OJ, apple juice. Didn't care what they ate, in my opinion. Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. Like, as long as to get more or whatever, because then you go to use it and oh shoot, we're out, right? Or especially like milk and stuff, if you have littler ones as well at home, that's another thing too. So I totally understand it, and hey, I don't want to bash anybody the way they parent or anything like that, but I will say, I mean, the rummaging and then the sneak snacks has always been weird. And then the roll incident that we saw at the Texas Roadhouse when, poor Sebastian goes to go grab, another roll and he can't have it. And I just want to be like, give it to him. I'm like screaming at the TV. Um, if I were in his family, KJ says, I would be speaking out if he was if he had been to my house recently, I would be speaking out. If I loved him, I would be speaking out. Where's everybody that could help? I mean, nobody. I mean, you see Al Stauch, and he is reserves, right? But he's like full time military, so he has people that came over, brought him pizza, was looking for Gannon. Nobody's ever done that. No one's ever come forward. We've never heard Dara come out and say, yeah, Katie was here. I mean, we saw it on a Facebook post, but she never came out and publicly spoke, you know? She does. Little Miss Sharon, she does. It's wacky tacky posts. Yeah, her Brussels sprouts. Oh, snap. He's gonna cook them before or eat them before I cook them. She says, cook them. Katie is so weird. Some of the I don't know. It's weird how she does her accents and they change so often. I sometimes wonder if that's because she's trying to do the insanity shit, you know? He steals them before I could cook them, but then in the other, you know, podcast or interview or what have you, she's country bumpkin. Then she's yelling, I own it. I own it. And I'm like, wow, how many personalities does this girl have? He was definitely living in the garage, in my opinion, so they can lock him in there and so he don't mess in her pretty house up and rummage through her food. Oh gosh, Kylie, I mean, it just kind of sticks with me, the way they were with food. It's okay for Katie to have two rolls. She grabbed two rolls and he couldn't even have one. What the fudge? What a fat ass. I'm sorry. That's mean. But seriously, what the fuck? Would charge will Timu K-Face if Sebastian has been in a school for 2 years? Um, I think that in Tennessee, I believe it would be a felony. I don't know what degree, but I would imagine that if Sebastian was able to come back and testify that, there was abuse in the house, they could probably charge her with that. False reporting, right? Using up all of those resources. There'd be a lot of things, in my opinion. Um, well, that's why the mattress pad seemed to have been something that was of interest, Kylie, because the mattress he was sleeping on was in the garage, was conveniently standing outside up against the house that morning he's missing. Yeah, and Nancy Grace even asked him about it too. So, and then on Easter, a new mattress was delivered allegedly, says Babs. Yeah. And Nancy was asking about it. So, yeah, exactly. I mean, look, and I get why a parent wouldn't allow for the kids to go ham on, sweets and everything like that. I get that. Or you want them to have healthy choices. But I mean, even the granola bars and stuff have chocolate in them, and Sebastian likes granola bars. He likes the Fiber One bars. Seth said. Those are the ones that he likes. And, I mean, again, with people who are on the spectrum, they do have sensory issues and they also like things to be consistent, right? And so I can't remember what I was watching, or maybe somebody said this before. Hey Groot. But they were talking about how, that's why it's hard to get kids to eat healthier foods, is because, the processed foods and stuff are more consistent than, cooking cooking sorry, I had to the chicken, and stuff like that. You might cook it a little bit different, but if it's a chicken nugget from McDonald's, it's a chicken nugget from McDonald's type of a thing. So if you make chicken fingers, they might be a little bit different, and that might, you know cause an issue. So um yeah, that's right. He needs more roles and she doesn't. Exactly, lover girl. And it's like when you're out though too, you know, um I don't know though, Crazy Bird. I don't know if they'll lose or gain, because they be making those prison burritos in there, and all of that stuff is so full of sodium and all that stuff. I bet you, and then Shady Katie over there, she ain't gonna miss a meal. I thought they made him go to the garage for having accidents. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. So, yeah. KJ says their house was purchased in September of 2020, trying to get Seth to take him around the same time in 2020. Yeah, yeah, that's the best of my knowledge. Trying to find him another placement. I don't think she wanted him in her Barbie home at all. Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder. And there was a lot of issues after they moved into that house. And they were saying that Sebastian might, if he's upset, go back to White House, you know? So Aw, thank you guys. Are we at 100%? You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. Um, my son is autistic and OCD, and he's 5'10" and 133 pounds right now because he's going through a phase, and I cook all the time. He's obsessed with his weight and working out. It scares me. Aw. Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing too. It sometimes that routine can get a little bit out of hand too. I imagine, right? If he's very much wanting to do, especially with OCD, because you have to do things a certain amount of times, right, to feel satisfied with it. So yeah, Babs, we'll be saying prayers for him. Was there any CPS reports from the White House property? I don't think so, because I believe that they started in October or November of 22. Right, no, sorry. Yeah, it was the end of 22, 23, then beginning of 24. Yeah, because it was about over a year and a half period for the CPS reports. So, but that's a great question, Funtuski. Yeah, because I don't think so, you know? Yeah, the doc's aware. Oh, good, Babs. Yeah, please know the doc is aware, and we are encouraging him to eat more, and I'm introducing different stuff, but his OCD is really bad about his weight. Yeah. No, sure, and I can understand that too. I mean, and depending on how many like repetitions and things like that, I can see why, somebody would be interested that has OCD and, that repetition of working out and things like that, right? Doing things in numbers and reps, things like that. Kylie Ray says, plus picture of him searching the landfill was a big clear plastic like mattress come in. I look at the screenshot when they showed it. Oh, okay. I must have missed that. Yeah, aw. Yeah, I bet. Aw. Well, Babs, my goodness. I know, and that's so hard, and especially when they're used to that routine, you know? Um, Kylie says, yeah, they were pulling it out and holding it up of the rubbish pile at the landfill. Oh, I was thinking maybe they were trying to shield from the cameras. So I know that is really interesting, Lover Girl. I thought they were pulling that big. I think I remember what you're talking about. I just thought that they were like trying to shield or like put up like a barrier so the cameras couldn't see. They moved from California. Oh, let's see. I don't want to misquote this one. Um, I'm not 100% sure on that. I wonder if CP was trying to isolate KK like he did to Nina. I believe so, but Seth trailed along, making it harder for it to happen. Yeah, I mean, I believe that. I believe that he was isolating Katie because all of their good times were in California, you know? So that's right. Aw, well, that's what a good mama does, Babs. Babs says I have to ride that roller coaster with him, but we'll get through it. Aw, hugs and kisses to you too, Babs. Aw, yeah, no, I mean, I know what you mean. Yeah, because if your kid's going through something, you are too. And I think that's why it's just alarming to me that Katie would want to, I don't know. It's just that you don't really typically see moms that, especially with moms and boys, wanting to be like, okay, go ahead and live with, your dad. I don't know. And there was some talk in the beginning too that like she wasn't down with it and they were having to talk her into it and that sort of thing. Um, so, um, but Allegedly, it was in 2020. Okay, I was thinking 2020. I was gonna say, but I was like, I know Sebastian did online school and stuff. Seth was saying during the pandemic. So, allegedly in 2020, Funtuski says, when living in White House, and then moved in September of 22 to Stafford Court. So, yeah, and I think they moved from California to White House, and then White House to Stafford. Yeah, so, um, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I wanted to say that too, and I was like, not I don't wanna say I was like, maybe 2019 because like I said, I knew that Sebastian was familiar with online classes because of the pandemic and stuff, so well, guys, I think I'm gonna get off here because I do wanna push out another video I've been working on for you guys, as well, so about Sebastian's case, and we're gonna keep on trucking along here as we go, too, because, of course, I have my trip coming up, um, and that sort of thing, and I haven't figured out, like, when I go through Tennessee, which I will be going straight through Nashville. If I'm going to, what I'm gonna do or stop in and that sort of thing. But you know, it's all still kind of I mean, I have my date set and my car and everything. Everything's set, but I just don't know yet how that's gonna go. So, ooh, which concert are you gonna go see, Babs? KJ says, "Lady, yeah, I can't ever recall hearing Katie say that Sebastian was going to move in with Seth. I recall Chris saying he and Seth were working on her about it." Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That's what they were saying in the beginning. Really? Rod Stewart and Richard Marx? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Oh, well, I hope you have a blast. That sounds like fun. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, have a wonderful weekend and future trip. Thank you. Aw, thank you. You too, Funtuski. Aw, thank you. It'll be fun. I haven't seen my daughter since I moved to Florida, so I'm like so excited that I'm gonna get to see her and spend some time and just hang out with her. She's a good kid. Um, so I'm excited. I'm excited. She's gonna be able to have a little rest after working really, really hard to get everything sewn up for graduation. So Bab says, "I'm so excited." I've seen him 4 times before. Really? Oh, wow, but not since '94. That is awesome. Oh gosh, you're gonna have to tell us all about it. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love going to see live music, so oh my gosh, I bet you that is gonna be so much fun. I wish I was going with you, Babs. So, well, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Let's say prayers for our friends who need them and just keep on trucking along with this. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. If I am off tomorrow, don't be alarmed. I just don't know if I'll go live or not. I'm not sure depending on just how much I get done. Because I do want to push out some videos for us to talk about, you know, during the lives. I like doing that just because it's fun to go over it. I give you guys a chance to like watch it yourself or without the commentary. And then I like to kind of discuss and deep dive into it. So, um, yeah, Babs, that's my Mother's Day present is seeing my daughter. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I'm so excited. So, um, I get to meet her boyfriend. So I'm like, this is the guy that is keeping you from moving to Florida. Good to meet you, guy that's keeping my daughter from moving to Florida. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I have not met him. I've talked to him on the phone, but I'm excited. I am. Thank you, KJ. Thank you so much. Yeah, but I wanted to do awareness. I mean, I'm absolutely bringing flyers to post, on the way and on the way back because I obviously stop at different places every time because it's just when I need coffee or have to pee. So that's when I stop and get back on the road. But and I'm covering more ground this time as well, obviously. So it'll be good. I think it'll be a good situation and a good thing to spread awareness. But I did want to see if I can't maybe stay a little bit longer, in order to maybe do a search with Jen. So we'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. Yeah, Babs, I know. I know. And I just have to work on him and be like, "You wanna move to Florida, don't you?" Like, I know you do. Aw, yeah, I don't know. She's just still my baby girl. So I'm like, but no, he's a good kid too as far as I can see, and, I mean, um, I'm just excited for her because I know she's been going to school since she's in, preschool because she was an only child. So I was like, she needs to get out there and get some friends and, meet little kids of her own age so she knows how to share and, all that stuff. And so she's been in school her whole freaking life basically. And now she's finally graduating with her master's. Um, so I'm really proud of her and she deserves a break and hoping she gets her dream job. So, but all right, guys. Well, you guys have the best Sunday ever if I don't talk to you. But definitely look out for some videos. I'm going to be dropping some videos for you. So, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Aw, thank you, Babs. Aw, she says, I'm so happy for her. I hope you guys have a wonderful time. Oh, we will. We will. We're just like two peas in a pod. So we're just gonna like straight chill. I'm like, I can't wait to relax. So because I mean, there's just been so much popping off too. So I'll see. Maybe she might want to come up for a live or something. Good night, coffee, crime, and cats. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.